Uncluttered and Unfiltered is supported by Hearts for Minds. Can you imagine waiting 10 years to get screened for cancer? On average, people with mental health issues experience a 10-year delay between symptoms and seeking help, and close to 2/3 of mental illnesses go untreated. Hearts for Minds promotes healthy lives by promoting mental health education, facilitating early identification, and connecting people to treatment. Are you ready to learn more? Go to heartsforminds.org. That's hearts, the number 4, minds.org for more information and to learn how you can help. Hi, it's Eden. Christine and I have had more conversations than we can count about how some days just feel harder than others. You know, those days when you're doing everything right, you're eating healthy, you're working out, but your energy just still crashes or your mood takes a dive out of nowhere. Nobody is safe when that happens. We've come to realize that it could be hormones. And so if you have felt that way, Happy Mammoth has something that can help. The makers of Hormone Harmony offer a quick 2-minute quiz designed to uncover the root cause of these stubborn hormonal symptoms. It's easy. You just answer a couple of questions about what you're experiencing and where you're at in your life. People who take the quiz really do find personalized insights into their hormone levels, and they give recommendations like Hormone Harmony. It's an herbal formula crafted to support hormones in a normal range, helping with occasional bloating, chronic fatigue, weight gain, the mild mood swings. With over 40,000 5-star reviews and a bottle selling every 24 seconds, those results speak for themselves. So if you're ready to start feeling like yourself again, and that to us is what it's all about, head over to happymammoth.com and take that free 2-minute hormone quiz. For a limited time, get 15% off your entire first order with the code UUPodcast at checkout. That's happymammoth.com, UUPodcast for 15% off today.
You set the gold standard for your business. Your website should do the same. Wix puts you at the helm, so you can enjoy the creative freedom of designing your site just the way you want. Want someone to bounce your ideas off? Talk with AI to create a beautiful site together. Whatever your business, manage it from one place and tie it all together with a personalized domain name. Gear up for success with a brand that says you best. You can do it yourself on Wix.
Welcome to Uncluttered and Unfiltered, the podcast urging you to let it go and don't look back, with nationally acclaimed professional organizer Christine Stone and self-proclaimed hot damn mess radio and TV personality Eden Kendall.
Welcome, everybody, to Uncluttered and Unfiltered. We are the podcast for women over 50. And who better to do a podcast for women over 50 than me, Eden, and Christine, because that's what we are. She's back, everybody. She's back from her European vacation. And I felt just devastated and sad and lonely with you gone and out of the country, even though we rarely see each other in person anymore. It's just, I was like lost.
Okay, that's funny because my husband heard me mention your name quite a few times while I was on vacation. So
that's great.
Anyway, you were thought of by me.
Good. I'm so glad. Good. So today's episode, we're going to talk about why a lot of women would prefer to be at home and not out gallivanting across the entire world like you just were. And we're going to get to that. But first, and not without us hearing all about your vacation, because I'm sure you had some moments there, especially if you said my name came up. I have to know why that was the thing. So tell us, first of all, tell everyone where you went, and then we'll talk about the stories.
So I'm going to start off by saying this is not a Debbie Downer episode.
Okay.
I'm just being real with my ladies out there because I'm not a fake person, so I'm telling the truth. Okay, so first of all, I went to Italy, which was amazing. I went to Sicily and I went to the Amalfi Coast. Very wonderful. And at the end, I went to the south of France, which was amazing as well. We met some friends for her 50th birthday at the very end. So it's not that it wasn't wonderful, because it, honest to God, was probably the most beautiful places I've ever seen in my entire life. Okay, now that we got that out of the way, the Italian people were absolutely amazing, wonderful. Same with the people in France. They couldn't have been lovelier. So now that we have all that out of the way,
Okay.
we will get into the
can't-
start to the end of my vacation and
Okay,
why I
give it
don't
to
like
us.
to leave my house.
All right.
Okay, so leading up to it, you and I had talked already on a prior podcast about I pack 3 weeks ahead of time. And so for this, because I was gone for 2 full weeks, I felt every day leading up to it, I was having to run out and get something else. Okay. That was the first thing. So every day I'm like, oh, God, I have to go run out and get this. I have to do that. So it just was stressful, in my opinion, leading up to it. And then packing, and then you keep checking the weather in other countries, and you don't want to dress like a tourist, but you don't want to, it's really hard. I went on social media to find what people wear, but I have to be honest, it was all young girls. It was all young 20 and 30 somethings. And how am I supposed to relate to that? Because they were like midriff tops. And so it was, I don't know. I went with what I always go to, which is J. Crew. I'm a big J. Crew fan. You can't really go wrong with that. And so anyway, I pack, I'm all ready to go. And the first thing that starts out our journey is we get to the airport. Of course, I have TSA pre-check. I've had it for years. And my husband forgets to put it on my ticket. And he's in the TSA pre-check line because he didn't forget to put it on his ticket. And I'm waiting for an hour in the non-TSA pre-check line. I have to take my shoes off. I've got it like the whole 9 yards, which I haven't done in a long time because I've had TSA pre-check for so long.
Did you know that you can put it back on at the kiosks before you get on the plane?
Wait, do what?
You can add your TSA pre-check at the airport.
Oh, I know, but we had already gone down. That's why. Yes,
okay,
we'd already gone down. And so I go through, and then they lost my shoe. Okay?
Your shoe?
They lost my shoe in the conveyor belt. Okay? This is a true story. I couldn't make this stuff up. So they lost my shoe in the conveyor belt. And so we're sitting there, and I have one shoe on. And my husband's, what's taking you so long? I'm like, I'm sorry. I wasn't in the TSA pre-check, and I had to take my shoes off, and they lost my shoe. So I'm waiting for my shoe. And of course, no one really wants to help you because they're trying to do their job of looking through your stuff as it goes through the thing. So they weren't in a hurry to get my shoe. They had to stop the conveyor belt, go in and dig and get my shoe out because it got stuck in there. Fine. Okay. We get there. My husband and I are two totally different travel companions. He likes to go to those in-airport places that you sit and eat all you can eat, like a buffet and whatever. And I'm not into that. First of all, I don't like to eat at the airport. I'm just whatever. So we're sitting in there. We finally take off to go to JFK, not Newark. And everything goes fine. We're on time. But then you forget, when you live in a smaller city like we do, that to get any connection, which I had totally forgot because I really haven't traveled a lot except to Nashville nonstop. You have to take a bus, a tram, a this, a that to get to your next gate. I didn't tell you we packed 4 suitcases. We packed 4 suitcases. By the way, which nobody told us, and we used a travel agent because this was a 2-week trip. Don't pack 4 suitcases, okay? No one told us that. So we had 4 suitcases, and when we got to JFK, we had to go collect our luggage off baggage claim and go back through security again and recheck our luggage. Okay, fine. I'm like, whatever. So that right there at my age was very annoying because even I think for my husband, it's just a lot of schlepping. We finally get to our plane that's going to take us to Italy. So I've already mentioned also in a previous podcast how I do not sleep on airplanes. And this was an 8:00 at night flight. We were leaving out of New York. And my husband was asleep maybe an hour into the flight. And I literally didn't sleep the whole entire time. because I told you I don't sleep on airplanes.
Right. It's very hard.
I don't. I think because I was a flight attendant, I just cannot sleep on airplanes because I was trained in my body, or you couldn't sleep when you were a flight attendant. So I just can't sleep on airplanes. So I stayed up and watched everything I downloaded and stayed up the whole entire 6 hours.
What did you watch? What did you watch real quick?
I watched Sirens on Netflix.
I did too. I watched that while you were gone. Okay.
I watched that. And there was another show. I downloaded a bunch of things. Now I can't even think about it. I'll remember it though.
Okay.
So I downloaded a bunch of shows, and so I would not have to worry about watching with those big headphones on the airplane. So then we get to Italy, and of course we have to go through, get our luggage, 4 pieces of luggage, and then we had someone pick us up at the airport, because that was another fear of mine. And I don't know if anyone else has that fear when you're in another country and you don't speak their language. So I wouldn't have been comfortable just trying to get an Uber in Italy. It would have made me insane. So I had prearranged someone coming to pick us up, and they spoke English and Italian both. So we get to the hotel. Now I'm tired. Now I'm exhausted because I haven't slept all day. But my husband wants to rally through and go and look around and eat dinner or whatever. I'm like practically sleeping in my food. I'm like no conversation whatsoever because I'm so tired. So we go to bed and we both look at each other the next morning and we're like, oh, we have to go eat breakfast. It's 11 a.m. in the morning. I'm
not surprised by that. How could you possibly have gotten up any earlier than that after not sleeping?
6 hours later there. So it would be 5 o'clock in the morning. So sleeping 6 hours later. Anyway, we missed breakfast because we had slept so long and both of us couldn't believe it. Anyway, so in Italy, everything is counted by stairs. So when you ask them how to get somewhere, they go, it's 285 stairs. And you know me, I'm like, what?
What does that mean?
That means because you have to take stairs everywhere in Italy because it's so old and they're like old stairs. To get anywhere, a lot of the times you have to climb a lot of stairs. So then she goes, and you can climb up there and it's 2,000 stairs. And I said, I'm not Eden. I am not going up 2,000 stairs. No how, no way. So I did do the 285. And let me tell you, that's not even for old people. But anyway, so it's a lot of that your body isn't used to. You're doing a lot of stairs. And thank God I didn't have to schlep the 4 suitcases up and down those stairs. So anyway, I think for me, it's you do a lot of drinking that you don't normally do, meaning like all the Italian wine, which was great because it doesn't have the sulfate, so you don't get the hangover. So that was a perk. But you're eating a lot of dessert because their desserts are amazing. You're doing a lot of things your body just normally doesn't do. And my husband's probably a lot like you. He doesn't want to go sit by the pool and have an umbrella drink. It's okay, we're going to get up at this time, then we're going to go, and then we're going to go here, and then we're going to do that. And then at 5, we have this, and then at 6:30, it's like there's no relaxation. You are just no napping, by the way, no napping, which when you're used to a nap, that could be very difficult.
Sure.
It's exhausting going on vacation. That's another thing.
I'm exhausted just listening. Just listening.
So you have the culture also, which is different because they eat at different times. They do things differently, and you just have to, you respect the culture and whatever. So I also had to get a seasickness patch for the back of my ear that I had never used before in my life. But my doctor said it really works because my husband wanted to go on a boat of the Amalfi Coast and I get seasick. Of course, leading up to that, I was really nervous because I'm like, I don't want to get on this boat and be violently ill in front of this like driver. So we get on the boat, and the whole time I'm like, is it working? Is it working? I think it's working. And my husband's like, just enjoy it. I'm like, wait, I'm seeing if it's working.
You
So
couldn't
the
even
whole time
enjoy yourself. You're so
I'm
busy
like,
trying to
I
check
think
in.
right, I'm checking in with my body going, is this working? So anyway, everybody out there who suffers from seasickness or motion sickness, this worked
Oh,
amazing
okay. Your doctor
because
prescribed it, right?
doctor prescribed. It's a
Okay.
patch. And also when you're traveling to places like Italy, there's a lot of roller coaster roads to get to the places you need to go. It's just like you're on a roller coaster. So I needed that also for that because it can be very nauseating
Did it
traveling.
make you tired?
No, not at all.
Oh,
Not
what was it
at
called?
all. Sclopamine,
Okay, that sounds familiar.
sclopamine patch, and you
Okay.
wear it for 3 days, then change it and wear another one. But I highly do recommend. That's just a sidebar of
Okay.
if anyone suffers from motion sickness. Okay, so that worked. So that was good because we got to go on the boat for the day. And let's see. Eating, I talked about the eating things. I'm also the type of person like Chevy Chase on vacation, or my husband is. And like, we get to a site and I'm like, okay, that's good. Let's go. That was beautiful. Move on to and he's, wait, there's a historical village 20 minutes from here. And I'm like, we've seen historical village. Okay.
You've
So,
seen one historical village. You've really seen them all.
and we went to Pompeii, which is the ruins, which made my husband the happiest man on the planet and made me, with a million other people, schlepping through the ruins of Pompeii, going, okay, I don't know. And then back then they slept on concrete and they had prostitutes all the time. And like, it was this stuff. And I'm like, wow, slept on concrete and had prostitutes. This is interesting. Anyway, did the whole Pompeii thing. Interesting. And then we got to the airport to go to Sicily, which is another part of Italy, of course. And 4 suitcases, had to recheck them in, go through security, which, by the way, note to everyone out there, security in every country is different. So what is allowed in the United States or in another country could be totally different. I had to take out my iPad. I had to take out my laptop. I had both of us constantly had our luggage stopped, had to get everything checked through security. They are so lacking employees in that area. So it takes forever to get through security. There is no pre-check or anything like that. You have to go through security. And so that was a nightmare. And I'm going to tell you because everyone was different. But we get to Sicily, the same thing. We check in after a ride. It's crazy, but we get there, the same thing. He's, let's go do this. I'm like, I am in a coma at this point. Okay. So just so you know, it's not relaxing sometimes when you go on vacation. The relaxation is when you get home. But we did do the Godfather tour in Sicily, which I highly recommend if you're a Godfather fan, because we went to the original house where they shot The Godfather in Italy. The owner was there. We met him. He has all the Godfather memorabilia. Nothing has changed since they did that movie in the 70s. Not one thing. It has been in his family for over 200 years. It was amazing to go see that. And then they take you in town so you could see where they did the wedding, and they were walking down the streets and where he asked the father if he could date his daughter at the restaurant. Same restaurant, still there. Nothing has changed. So it was amazing. We saw the church where they got married. Everything was the same. It is still, you're in a time capsule. Nothing has changed. So it was so beautiful. Now we're going to talk about the fun part that I haven't even told you this. So now my husband wants to go to the volcano of Mount Etna.
Because you had such a great time in Pompeii.
Okay. I'm like, okay, we will go to Mount Etna, the volcano. Now, meanwhile, I had watched a documentary, and I can't remember the name of it, but someone out there, I'm sure, has watched it, where this couple goes on their honeymoon or something to a volcano in Hawaii. Everyone's on the boat. You have to take a boat to get out there to see it. So they had tons of boats going out there. While they're out there, the volcano erupts. They have no way of getting back because you had to get there by boat. Anyway, it was harrowing, that documentary. So I'm not a big fan of going to see volcanoes. So we get there, it's raining, it's nasty, it's high up, it's bumpy, rocky roads that aren't paved. And I'm like, oh my God, this is unbelievable. So we get there, and the guy's like trying to take us through caves. And I'm like, I'm good. I'm not going in a cave. And he's like, why? And I go, I just am not going in a cave, but I can meet you guys. And he goes, you're going to have to walk and get around. I go, I'm good. So I shoot a video of me to my daughters saying, I have seen Dateline episodes. So if I disappear, I want you to know I would never have voluntarily gone in a cave, jumped off a cliff, done anything like that. And I had to document it because it was that weird. Okay.
Let me guess, you're probably multitasking while listening to this podcast, aren't you? Of course you are. We're all so busy and we work really hard for what we have. So wouldn't it be great to eliminate stressing about fashion? To regain those hours staring at a closet full of nothing to wear? Oh, have we got a great solution for you. Listen, I know I am one to stress about keeping a fresh, high-quality wardrobe, and I'm the queen of buyer's remorse when I do treat myself. That is where Armoire comes in. Check it out for yourself. Go to armoire.style/UU podcast, take a style quiz, and then you get to make choices. You rent the clothes, you wear them, and return them. And before you're even sending them back, you're replacing them with a new selection. It's like having a best friend with an endless closet. Right now, all of our listeners can give Armoire a try and get up to 50% off your first month. That's up to $125 off. Just visit armoire.style/UU podcast. That's ARMOIRE.style/UU podcast and get up to 50% off your first month and never worry about what to wear again. Try Armoire today.
So when we're walking, there's these geologists and see, these are safe men who are here because they can gather all this data so that they'll know at least 2 weeks ahead of time when it's going to explode again. And I go, I don't know. Are you sure? And he goes, 100% sure. I go, so it's not going to explode while we're here? No way. Like I'm some crazy loony bird. Okay. So then he goes, let's go up to the top where the crater is up high. I go, I'm not going. So my husband's like, you don't want to go? I go, no, I'll sit down here at the bottom of the hill. He goes, what are you going to do? I go, I'm just going to sit here. I'll wait for you. He goes up all the way to the top. And I'm like, if that thing explodes, I'm going to have to run by myself. And I don't know where I am or what I'm doing, but I'm just going to start running. So I'm sitting there all by myself. I go to get on my phone, no signal on the top of Mount Etna, everybody, just so you know. So I had nothing to do. So he comes back down. Now it's pouring down rain. Okay, pouring. We get in the car. I'm like, and he shows me all the burned out buildings from the last time it exploded and they had to rebuild everything because the lava destroyed everything. And I'm like, okay, let's go back to our hotel now. P.S. Yesterday, Mount Etna exploded. It erupted, okay? That was not 2 weeks' notice, by the way, just to those gemologists out there. That was definitely not 2 weeks' notice. And everyone kept making fun of me, going, you're being ridiculous. It's not going to do that. I am not joking. It erupted yesterday. People were running for their lives, they said. Running, because there were so many tourists up there. Okay?
Okay, I have a question.
Yes.
Did Mitch drop something into the volcano that caused it to explode? Did he check his pockets when he came back down? We want to make sure he had
Right, like he didn't do a Greg Brady where he took something and it was bad luck, and then it exploded. Okay. Anyway, no, he did not. Needless to say, he will never live this down because I kept saying, I'm really not comfortable doing this. And what I've realized, and all the ladies out there might know this, I've been married 37 years. And yes, I know you have to compromise, and I understand all that, and I get it, and it's part of being married. But is part of being married risking your life by a volcano erupting? When, sometimes you don't listen to what you really feel because you want to do something to make someone else happy, but you're like, I really don't like this. This is not comfortable for me. Do you ever feel that way with Steve?
I think he feels like that with me. But I wonder if while this volcano erupted yesterday, you said, or this week?
Yesterday.
I wonder if there was some wife saying, I told you so to her husband on their way running away. I'd be like that. I'd be like, he would say run, and I'd be like, I fucking told you.
I know. Oh,
I
believe me.
told you this could happen.
I know my husband this morning is thinking to himself, she's never, ever going to do anything that she doesn't feel comfortable with. Now I'm toast. I have no say in the game.
There's 100% going to be a remember the volcano time that comes up in your relationship again.
100%.
Like that volcano is in your pocket, and you're going to whip it out in the next argument.
Exactly.
Remember when you said the volcano had 2 weeks notice? Remember?
And how about the gemologist who I met? Like, he goes, you're really lucky to meet them because they're not here but every few weeks. So you're lucky to meet the people who save other people from it exploding. They give them notice so they can prepare. I'm like, do they have my Wi-Fi up there or something? Like my home Wi-Fi, because I have the worst Wi-Fi in my house. What kind of system do they have that it erupted with no notice? Anyway. Okay, so that was Mount Etna. Then it was time to leave to go to France. It's a whole nother thing because that's a different country than Italy.
Yes, it
Their
is.
security is totally different too. Everything is different.
And the word on the street is they don't love us Americans there. Is that true or not?
That is the word on the street because I had heard that too. But I have to tell you, they were really lovely.
Okay.
Really lovely and very sweet and very helpful and it totally surprised me.
Good.
But anyway, so now we're going to France. Everything goes fine. We get it, but their planes, it's all in French, like everything, the flight attendant, like nothing's in English. So we just went with it. We're like, okay. And they're like puddle jumper kind of planes, which it was a little nerve wracking because in my mind, I'm thinking I'm in the middle of nowhere. I don't even know where I am really technically. And if this plane goes down or anything happens, I don't even know where if someone would have asked me, where are you? I would have said, I don't know, somewhere in France, I think. Like you really, when you travel so much through countries, you start to forget where you are, what language you're speaking, what you're doing. Like we kept speaking Italian in France and I'm like, like the thank you and the please. It's like different language, different food. I'm going to be honest here. I'm not a big French food fan compared to Italian. There is no better food, in my opinion, than the Italian food we had in Italy. French food, I think, is a definite acquired taste, and I don't think I've acquired it yet. It doesn't mean someday I won't acquire it, but I don't think I've acquired it yet.
I don't think you will. When are you going to acquire it? When are you going to put in the work?
I won't. But I did the pastries and stuff. They're very good bread and pastries in France. Of course, I don't normally eat that stuff, so my body was in a state of shock. Now, we're going to talk about another fun thing in Europe, in France. Their pharmacies. And I will talk in a future segment when we talk about our favorite things on something I bought there that is out of this world amazing. You can't get it in the United States yet. I think it's coming here. It's just, I don't know when. Okay. So my husband made fun of me because I had to stop in every French pharmacy, everyone, no matter where we were, because their sunscreens are different. They don't have the chemicals we do in the United States. Everything is different, and you can get things over the counter there that you can't get here, that you can't, it's by prescription here or whatever. So I did enjoy going to all the French pharmacies and stocking up. We had a wonderful time in the south of France. It's beautiful. It was during Cannes Film Festival. Didn't see any celebrities, although I kept thinking everybody was a celebrity just because it was Cannes. And I kept saying, I think that's so-and-so, but it looked nothing like them. So then we're leaving to go back to the United States. But before we leave, the last night of our trip, I had been all dolled up and wore makeup, and I get back to the hotel and we're leaving the next morning, and I'm like, God, my eye is sore. That's weird. Why is my eye sore? I take off my makeup and I have the largest sty in my eye you could imagine. Now we're leaving at 7 a.m. the next morning, so I can't go to a pharmacy. I can't get anything. But I did pack some of those hot masks that you can put on your eyes because everyone knows by now I have dry eyes, so I packed those anyway. And I used my hypochlorous acid spray continuously because I knew it was like some sort of bacteria, whatever. But I had to fly for a day and a half because that's how long it took back to get here with a sty in my eye that kept getting bigger. And my husband tried to be nice and go, it's not getting worse. Like with his facial expression, knowing it was getting really bad. Anyway, this is where you were mentioned again. So we get to our connection to go to JFK, but our flight was delayed. And while we're on the flight in Paris, the flight attendant comes up. We haven't even left the runway yet and says, you're going to miss your flight. We're like, how do you know? She's, I know you're going to miss your flight. And I've never had that happen where someone says, you're going to miss your flight. I go, okay, what does that entail? And she goes, you'll just have to get another one. When people say that, I was a flight attendant. It's not easy like that. It's terrible. Okay. So now we're delayed. We're going to miss our flight. So we land and she goes, you can make it if you run. Okay. And she goes, and when I mean run, I didn't know that we had to go with 4 pieces of luggage, pick them up, go through security again. Okay. Pick up those, go through security and go through a tram, a train, a escalator, like 5 million of those walking escalators. It was a haul. So of course we get stopped at security. And there's a line of people who they stop. So I go up to the lady. I go, is there any way you can grab those 2 that are sitting there and go through them because we're going to miss our flight? No. Just like that. No. So we're sitting there. And me and my husband are both like, we're missing that flight. We're missing that flight. We're missing that flight. They finally felt bad for us, took the luggage, looked through it, and then said, run. Now I'm like, Mitch, I am not Eden. I can't run. I go, do you think we should get a wheelchair and wheel me? What should we do? He goes, you're going to run. I am schlepping a humongous carry-on, everything, and I am running. When I tell you running, like sprinting.
What were you wearing on your feet? Those Dr. Scholl's we met last time?
No, I actually had my athletic shoes on for running.
Okay.
I'm running. We actually make it with 4 minutes to spare before they shut the door. I get on the plane. The flight attendant looks at me and goes, are you okay? I couldn't breathe. I was hyperventilating. I was profusely sweating. I couldn't even stand up. My knees hurt so bad. I am telling you, I was like, I'm never doing this ever again. I was like, how does she run the way she runs? I couldn't understand it. I was so winded. I thought I was going to have a heart attack. Okay. So we make it. Now we have 6 hours to fly and we get back at midnight. The whole point of this is it's exhausting when you're 62 years old to fly this much to travel to different time zones, to be gone for 2 weeks. And I didn't even talk about the plugs. We had every plug we thought we needed. None of them worked. I swear to God, we had 10 plugs for European, for Italy, for London, you name it. None of them worked. None of them. It was we had to borrow one from the front desk, and we had so many. You don't realize how much you appreciate your electric plugs till you don't have them.
Oh, yeah.
So that was a whole nother thing. I'm back. I'm happy. God bless the USA. I'm just so happy to be home in my own house. And I have to tell you, one thing I realized by being gone, I think this is why I do what I do for a job, because when you create a space that is so peaceful, so calming, so happy, it's really hard to leave, and you just can't wait to come back to it. And you appreciate it so much more. So there's my travel.
That was a fantastic recap. What you said about your home is your place, and leaving for 2 weeks or leaving for 2 hours sometimes just isn't what you want. So you came across a video explaining and really focusing on that very concept, that home sweet home, baby. It's why more and more people are saying they just don't want to leave their homes. Some of whom we know were actually a little bit relieved during lockdown. But yeah.
Well, it's funny that you say that, because I was driving in the car the other day and I thought, what was the worst thing that happened to other people was the best thing for me, because I'm a homebody. So during COVID, I didn't have to go anywhere. And both my kids, for the last time, and I knew it was going to be the last time, I knew it in my heart. I said, they're never going to be living under my roof ever again together without significant others or kids, whatever. And of course, I was right, because my daughter got engaged a year later. So I thought about that. I thought sometimes what is terrible for some people is not so terrible for other people if you're a homebody.
Sure. So did you have a list, or do we want to reserve that list for another episode? The list of what's keeping people home?
Well, this is from a guy on TikTok.
Okay.
And he said, I was thinking about this because he said it so well. And it's 11 reasons why people lose interest in leaving their house as they get older.
Okay.
And I just think that people that are 25 or 35 or 45 or even 55, it's different than when you're 62. It's a different, and you and I said we're even doing an episode because you're about to turn 59 and I'm going to be 63. And I was telling you how people don't believe it, but there's such a difference in just a few years. And I have someone that's a few years older than me, and they'll always tell me, this is what you have to look forward to. And sure enough, I'll get to the age that she was when she told me that. And I'm like, she told me that? That's weird. She's right. So we can go over those next time, but they're really good because I'm telling you, it made me feel like I'm not alone out there, that there are other people that don't like to travel as they get older, because it's just disruptive. It's just hard to do when you're older. You don't have the stamina that you did when you were young. Anyway.
I'd love it if everybody would share a travel horror story they may have with us. We'll post it in our ladies only group. So if you've ever had motivation to join our Facebook group, that is the ladies only version, we do have a regular Uncluttered and Unfiltered Facebook page, Instagram, YouTube. You can watch more and more of these videos on YouTube. Not all of them, but some of them. And we have this private group that you have to be admitted into, where it's really a safe space and you can share things you might not ordinarily. So it's Uncluttered and Unfiltered ladies only. And I'll put a post up asking everybody to submit their travel horror stories if you have. Not that yours was a horror story, but people have them.
A horror story, but the Mount Etna thing could have turned into a nightmare.
Yeah, but you know what? Maybe someone in our group is going to say, I actually was there the week it went off. They have a legit horror story.
They have a legit run for your life horror story.
What we would love to, though, is if you would tell one friend about our podcast. You might have a friend who's getting ready to take a long plane ride to another country and they're looking for podcasts. let them know about this one. They could start with this episode and go backwards. So if you would do that for us, leave all the stars, leave the good reviews, follow, subscribe, all the things that every other podcast asks you to do. It really does make a difference. It really helps us grow the podcast. So we appreciate you very much. And let's see, how can we end this episode?
Okay.
If you plan to go on a long trip and pack 4 suitcases, you should probably let that idea go.
And definitely don't look back.
Uncluttered and Unfiltered is supported by Hearts for Minds. Can you imagine waiting 10 years to get screened for cancer? On average, people with mental health issues experience a 10-year delay between symptoms and seeking help, and close to 2/3 of mental illnesses go untreated. Hearts for Minds promotes healthy lives by promoting mental health education, facilitating early identification, and connecting people to treatment. Are you ready to learn more? Go to heartsforminds.org. That's hearts, the number 4, minds.org for more information and to learn how you can help.